In 2022, frozen food sales in the U.S. reached over $72 billion. Demand has been rapidly growing.
Temperature vary, it can become unsafe.
Throughout COVID, we had among the highest sales in all of the food space.
Percentages are remarkable in terms of what's tossed in frozen items because of inadequate cold storage temperature.
You might think the real threats to your readiness come from foreign adversaries or global instability, but what if the enemy is already sitting in your pantry? Right now, common groceries like white bread, canned soup, and frozen dinners are silently degrading your performance, slowing reaction time, and straining your long-term health. These aren't just foods, they're hidden liabilities that can compromise your endurance and focus. In this video, we're exposing 12 everyday items that could be sabotaging your operational stamina without you even realizing it.
So the consumers are buying more frozen product. It's going to require more storage capability and a more efficient supply chain. When COVID happened, when supply chain everything got shut down, you saw a huge spike in frozen food, sometimes 30, 40, 50% year-over-year basis. What can consumers afford? A great study by Cornell that looked into how much waste the average consumer has between both fresh and frozen. And what they found was for frozen food, you're 5 times more likely not to encounter food waste.
Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. What if the very foods you thought gave you strength in the field are actually weakening your body's defenses? The same cans stacked neatly on a pantry shelf, the same frozen boxes that promise a quick dinner. These items can trap the body in a constant cycle of strain.
Frozen category, really seeing things like variety meats more likely to be purchased frozen. At the end of the day, it's about that 4 p.m. dinner tonight decision, right?
Most frozen food products reported double-digit increases.
We did a recent survey and found that over 80% of consumers look to frozen to reduce in-home food waste and also save money.
Freezing technology really hasn't gained leaps and bounds.
Blast freezing, and what that means is, let's say strawberries are coming out of a field in California.
On the surface, they look harmless, but inside they carry sodium, preservatives, and processed starches that work against endurance, slowing energy and clouding focus when it's needed most. Canned soups, a sandwich made with white bread, or a frozen dinner pulled from the microwave all sell the same message: comfort, reliability, and ease. For someone managing long shifts or trying to keep meals simple, they appear to take the pressure off. Yet what they actually deliver is a hidden load of salt, sugar, and fast-burning carbohydrates that keep the body running in short, unstable bursts.
However, cryogenic freezing is much faster since that liquid nitrogen is so cold. One estimate puts mechanical freezing at nearly an hour to freeze fruits and veggies, while cryogenic freezing could take 11 minutes.
10th annual Disruptor 50 list, our fastest growing private companies challenging public incumbents.
Supply chain issues and labor challenges haven't really gone away in the food industry.
Where's the stuff?
What can consumers afford? A great study by Cornell that looked into how much waste the average consumer has between both fresh and frozen, and what they found was
energy rises quickly, then collapses just as fast, leaving a sense of fatigue in its place. The contradiction is what makes these foods so dangerous. You're told they nourish, that they're dependable, even wholesome, but what they often provide is something closer to sabotage. Blood pressure rises quietly as sodium levels stay high. Energy feels steady for an hour, then drops hard as refined carbs burn out of the bloodstream. Over time, these small drops are enough to reduce alertness, shorten endurance, and make daily routines more difficult than they need to be. Take the story of a retired nurse who trusted her soup and sandwich lunch as a balanced meal. She read the label one afternoon and was stunned to find that one can of her favorite soup held more salt than the entire daily allowance she was told to keep during her medical training. What she thought was fuel turned out to be a heavy dose of stress on her cardiovascular system, something she had warned countless patients about during her career. Excess sodium in the body is less like a sudden explosion and more like a leak below the waterline of a warship. You don't hear alarms, you don't see obvious fires, but pressure builds silently as water pools where it shouldn't. The vessel still moves, still seems capable, until one day the systems fail without much warning. That same slow pressure plays out in the body, and the damage builds day after day. Medical research has shown again and again that high sodium intake is one of the clearest routes toward hypertension. Hypertension is not only a threat to long-term heart health, it cuts short the very stamina and clarity that allow a person to stay focused and active in daily life. A single meal doesn't cause it, but patterns built over years can push someone into a state where walking upstairs feels like a battle, and concentration slips under minor strain. It's not only sodium, but also the refined starches inside everyday items like white bread. A retired teacher spoke of frequent dizziness after simple meals. A few slices of toast in the morning, repeated almost every day, caused glucose spikes that left her lightheaded within hours. She thought her body was failing her, when in reality it was the ordinary loaf on her table, stripped of fiber and nutrients, causing her blood sugar to swing up and down like a pendulum. If this is how common meals eat away at performance, the question becomes clear. Is there a way to maintain energy and dependability without giving up convenience? The answer isn't to wipe shelves clean or toss out everything familiar. It's about making swaps that strengthen instead of erode. Choosing low-sodium broth in place of soup cans lowers the salt load while keeping preparation quick. Picking whole grain breads creates steadier energy curves instead of spikes and crashes. Replacing boxed frozen dinners with meals cooked in batches over the weekend keeps the speed while avoiding chemical fillers. These are not minor adjustments. They restore balance in stamina and steadiness in energy, ensuring a person feels ready for the day rather than dragged down by what they eat. That kind of readiness matters, whether in a demanding job or simply trying to stay sharp. But salt and sugar are not the only quiet adversaries hiding inside grocery aisles. The next danger is even harder to spot: chemicals and additives that operate like silent saboteurs, embedding themselves over time and changing how the body responds without any immediate signal. The greatest threats to operational readiness don't always come from air or sea. They sit quietly on shelves, disguised as harmless grocery staples. A loaf of bread here, a frozen dinner there. Each one can weaken stamina and clarity over time. These are not small inconveniences. They are steady forces that chip away at long-term resilience. Run your own supply check. Swap out just one item this week. Each replacement strengthens endurance instead of draining it. Vigilance in diet matters. Every choice works for or against the mission, and the mission is nothing less than preserving strength for the future.